The Sound Technique and the ECK Dream 1 Discourses, Lesson 10. The ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Klemp, page 214, has a man laying on his right side with an awesome but unrealistic painting of the night sky on the other side of his bed. It looks like he could reach over to his nightstand and put on his glasses. Then he could go over and use the pencil and blank pages in the nearby book to record his experiences. The quote confirms the implication of the placement. That means that Eckankar wants credit for all your inner experiences and to hold it as the head of all teachings for what is attained on one's own. Is it counterproductive to spiritual freedom to assert that you are constantly being taught by a group when there's no physical teaching going on and it is controlling your life outside what you do as part of it? Lesson 10. Gifts of the Dream Master. Some businessmen were curious as to what Eckankar was, and it was difficult for them to talk without using Eckankar jargon. The Eckists explained it to the Christians in parallel terms. It is important to use language that others can understand and to show similarity, but be honest. If one can speak in terms of similarity, why wouldn't telling differences not be as easygoing? Is Eckankar responsible for the inner teachings? Certainly, this must be the case in terms of projections it programs you into. I just watched a Dogma of Engramenyu video that talked about how prayer is not some slavish pleading. Prayer is programming, but your own chosen programming. Do its inner teachings set it head and shoulders above everything else? I'm not condescending, I'm trying to indicate where the quotes start and end. Oh, do you do its inner teachings set it head and shoulders above everyone else? The ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Klemp speaks of outer trappings that are similar to other so-called religions. Why should religion need to trap people? If it was about true liberation and enlightenment. 2 key factors of Luciferianism, by the way. I tend to think actual religion breaks one free from the trappings one was in. Eckankar tries to make its members and practitioners feel special for being exposed to teachings seldom put into writing. Eckankar speaks of an Ahma Babani speaking on behalf of the barons before King John of England and helping them towards drafting of the Magna Carta of 1215 of the Common Era. But an internet search only showed results that relied on Eckankar members for his existence. How would being involved in such efforts speak of a living Eckmaster having a spiritual concern only? A spiritual concern only. Well, I definitely have to watch the bugs. The taking a role in counteracting outer debauchery by initiating a series of initiates and speaking to them seems a very arbitrary allegation. Is reading the Ekvidya a talent of clearly seeing the effects of our past and present behavior upon future events? Trouble may be karmic, but it is probably unjust to blame people for their being responsible for everything, or to say they deserve all the hardship in their life. A lot of people, it seems people fail the test of ease more than they do hardship. Does organized religion have a better answer for all the hardship and does organized religion have a better answer for the problem of evil and how the prophets taught that we are tested and rewarded for our patience and perseverance? Life is full of effort, and we have to wonder at claims to be able to divine the causes of things. Does prophecy come naturally with looking into dreams? When people look into their dreams, trying to find prophecies in them that way. Is Harold Klemp right on the ECK Dream 1 Discourses, page 217, when he teaches that there can be great spiritual goals too soon? Or is that the ideal? Or is it that the ideal is to be slowly and realistically striven for from the start? A concept of God awareness and all the virtues that accompany it can be worked on today without procrastination. The prophets often received the revelations only as fast as they could learn and be inspired by them. But how can this be the same in terms of exposure to outer initiations and inner ECK works, or things like Eckankar discourses? Some will be more attracted to love, teaching, service, or contemplation than prophecy or other teaching they come across. Than prophecy or other forms of divination. Love, teaching, service, or contemplation. Like the golden-tongued wisdom, some will develop any part of a teaching they come across rather than speculation. Rather than specialization. Does the complete Eckankar program bring God realization? And its fruitive actions are karma yoga. Harold Klemp offers a conflicting picture, both in example and word. Harold Klemp talks on page 218 like he can't even put together a single discourse upon the issue of ekvidya. Again, the issue relies on you to find it in the dream teachings that he allegedly gives you. What about dreams had by people before membership in Eckankar? What about dreams by people who never join? The ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Harold Klemp admits on page 219 that the ekvidya has flaws, but still claims it is a reliable method of gauging your conditions. Page 220 seems to draw me towards the idea that ECK is more properly ECK, the abbreviation, and the 9 of the order of the Vairagi adepts means the 9 of the Greek enneads, or some other such thing represented by the 9 silent ones. Until the one voted for Darwin Gross to remain the 972nd ECK Master and Mahanta and a living ECK Master. Nowadays, it is said to be 5 or less corporate leaders. Is ennead corporate kinesis or something like that what ECK is supposed to mean? The ECK Dream 1 Discourses are said to be the result of a decision reached by the order of Vairagi adepts to feature near the entry level into ECK. The ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Harold Klemp goes over an experience Harold Klemp allegedly had with Petar Zask in a research room at the Param Akshar Temple on the Soul Plane. He was looking over a copy of an ekvidya reading for him from years ago. People used to pay whomever was called the living ECK Master for this Akashic record-like readings. For these Akashic record-like readings, is this, upon reality, our mere soothsaying? Wa-Z deemed, Harold Klemp, deemed it important to look over Paul Twitchell's style of writing. A hologram of a knight during the First Crusade was interpreted as a past life of his. Peter Zask, Paul Twitchell, was made to make a note of the images as quickly as they appeared. Peter Zask was said to have went through and selected the images with the quickness of lightning. The style changed as it went to a scene interpreted as Harold Klemp having a past incarnation as a contemporary poet of Jalal ad-Din Rumi. Despite all the poetry and such, the room was quiet. Harold Klemp ended up convincing himself that these ekvidya dreams and similarly categorized experiences was the way to gain convictions on non-specific issues. The goal was to be able to read for oneself. Isn't that what a person does in the dream state, rather than dream characters being separate from his consciousness to tell external information? If this method is broad, infallible, how can the message be as clear as it is said to be with the claims of help? We don't start full of knowledge. Belief and faith are what we start upon our consciousness, are what we start with upon our conscious return to God. Every path seems to strive towards some sense of self-mastery, but ek-mastership takes this individuation to the extent of autodeism. Our experience of reality may be fully based on what we are and what is in us, but I hardly think that means every higher human and spiritual force combines within us. So remember to go ek yourself.